Hey everybody, it's Elise, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about how I paid off 6 figures of student loan debt. I'm going to talk about, in the beginning, the steps that I took to get the debt off of my record, and then at the end I'm going to talk about some things that I would tell myself to do if I needed to do it again that I didn't do the first time. And so the first thing that I did was sit down and make a budget. And I did that because I think budgets expose where your money is going, and even more so important is that it tells you where you thought your money was going, that it is indeed not going. So when you have a budget and you can kind of delineate everything that you need, you can then figure out how much that you have extra to pay off the loan quicker, or that you don't have extra that you need to work on to get that fixed so you can pay off your student loans instead of just paying off the minimum payment. So I don't know, but I personally feel that budgets are freeing as opposed to them being oppressive. But I do understand that it isn't always fun to see what you don't have if you wish you had more in your budget. So yeah, I get that. The second thing I did was make sure I had at least 1 month in savings. That was enough for me just to make sure that if I needed to pay a deductible for my insurance, or something happened and I needed to get tires for my car, or some unexpected, hopefully small bill, I was able to pay for it. And so once I got that 1 month's payment, 1 month of saving ready, I felt more comfortable to focus on my student loans, because the quicker I could get rid of that, I can get that 1 month to 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. And then the third thing that I want to talk about is like how I actually paid off the bills. So I particularly had federal student loans, and I ended up having like at least 10. I don't remember if it was 13, 14, or 16 because it's been a year, like 2 years since I paid it off, but I know it was at least 10, and they were all different amounts. And I did the snowball method, which was I start with the line item loan that was the smallest amount, and I think for me the smallest one was like $300. And if I paid off that $300, I would have got like $1.20 something cents taken off my overall bill, which has started to be $1,100 a month. At its worst, my student loan payment was $1,100. So then once you pay that off, I think the next one was like $2,000, and that brought off like $4 off of my bill. So then I had, after I paid number 1 and number 2, I had an extra $5 that I could go into, in addition to maybe the $200 or $300 that I found for my budget that I can just pay off to my student loan. And then I just kept doing that. And then steadily my bill went from $1,100 to like $1,090 to $1,025. Then it went down a little bit more drastically to like $800, then $650, and I remember like the last one, but the last two was like $400, which I felt like, okay, even if I don't have this job, my bill at $400 is a lot more affordable than $1,100. And like at the last bill was like $270. And then once I paid that off, it was done. And then the last thing that I want to iterate that I think helped me get rid of the loan debt was I stay focused. And staying focused, again, is another thing that's simple, but not always easy to do because life happens. In the process of the 9.5 years that I had to pay off my loans, things happen. Like I had to move unexpectedly, so there were moving expenses. I had to pay higher rent I had to pay double rent because I moved between states. I still made sure that I was focusing on putting something towards my student loan debt, and I also, my car was totaled, so I had to come up with money for that. And like have a monthly payment after I didn't have a monthly payment for about 3 years into the process of paying off my debt. So life will happen. That's why I put staying focused as part of my process, because I could have easily got derailed, and 10 years is a long time. There are people in my family that were supportive, and even friends, but you know, sometimes you're going to be the only one that cares about what you care about, and you have to stay focused on it, because you're not going to be able to depend on outside influences cheering you on when you want to stop. Some things that I would do differently if I had the chance is, first and foremost, I would not do the whole 6-month deferral thing after you graduate if I could afford it. I was blessed enough to have a job from graduation to like a month after I graduated. So I was employed, and I am so mad at myself that I used that 6 months to not pay the bills. It didn't make sense to me. I will tell you that 6 months period cost me $20,000. or something to the tune of that. But I know when I did the math, I was very upset because I could have saved myself $20,000 because it was a high balance in the beginning, and then that compound interest worked against me. The second thing that I would do and tell myself to do if I needed to do it all over again was to put in my budget a line for one vacation a year and for some personal shopping, even if it's like $50 a month. And the vacation, I'm not talking about extravagant vacations because I had a couple of extravagant vacations and I would do that a little bit differently, not too much, but it's important to have some free time in the year for yourself, even if you do a staycation. So like $1,500 to $2,000, save for that for you, because it's not always, like I said, pretty, it's not always fun. You need a time to kind of decompress from your goals, because that actually helps you push you towards your goal further. And then the last thing that I would suggest myself to do that I did not do, that I kind of regret, is I would have a side hustle to help me pay off my bills. Something that I could do 5 to 10 hours a week, that's either based on a skill that I have, or just that is something convenient that would allow me extra money to pay off my bills. I don't know why I didn't come up with that, because I definitely could have done it because I was younger at the time. That would have shaved off probably 2 years, so instead of 9.5. And yeah, y'all, that's it. That in a nutshell is the steps that I took to get myself out of debt. And let me tell you, if you are interested in doing it, when you are done, you will not regret it. Or even like after you've done it for a few years, like I said, I went from $1,100 to $1,400, and I thought that was so much more doable and less stressful than to have an $1,100 bill attached to my neck for 25 years. I wasn't into it. So let me know in the comments if you are on a debt payoff journey, how it's going, if you've done some of the things that I suggested and what things you did differently, and I will see you guys next week.